That's my mom right there.
I gotta make sure I do this right.
Oh. Yeah, his name is Keizus and he does it so he please it, so you better go and please him. You better not play with him. Yeah, I don't know.
Welcome back to another episode of Casually Random. And today we deep dive into TV and TV classics right now. Now, I'm not going to go into Velma currently. We're going to save that for another time. We are going to go into another hit show that is sweeping my TikTok and everything else going on right now. And that show is Milf Manor. The one show that TLC just had to make to create another dating show conglomerate that wilder than 90 Day Fiancé, wilder than Sleep Talk in 90 Days, wilder than 90 Days to Die, and then you get married, wilder than I Met My Wife 90 Days from Now, and this is the first time we're talking. You know, those hit TLC classics that we can never seem to forget. Trust me. When I tell you Milf Manor does not disappoint in the way you think it should, and it really just should not exist. Let's do a little deep dive into episode 1 and episode 2. And you're going to think, oh man, what are we in for? To explain to you what you're in for would be something that I could never prepare you for. Basically, take a dating show where mothers in their 50s are told that they're going to go on an all expenses getaway to try and find their soulmate, the love of their life, in a nice island in Mexico. Now take those mothers' ideals of what that looks like and introduce a little twist, just a little twist in the flavor. That twist being that the pool they have of men to date is their sons. Now, I'll stop there and give you a spoiler warning, because if you want to go and watch the show after that synopsis, be my guest. I'm going to be honest with you, be my guest, because it is not something I particularly probably would have started unless it was for the internet, pushing it my way to be like, hey, it's time, talk about this, King. So we're talking about it. And through talking about it, I'll tell you this. Milf Manor is something that my brain could not rack its head around at first. So mothers are dating other mothers' sons on an expense-paid island. Wow. Okay, we're watching, we're in it. Their first challenge to get rooms, there's 2 deluxe suite rooms that they have to work for because they have challenges every week. So their first challenge to get these deluxe rooms is to identify their son, blindfolded. But in order to identify their son, they have to feel up on their bodies, their abs, their chest, their shoulders, the works. Nothing below that, though. Nothing below the abs. And then identify their son that way. So you're going into it, you're looking at it, and you're like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way this is happening right now. This is their first challenge? What? So, where do we go from here? So the mothers are feeling up their sons. They're picking out which one is theirs, or failing to pick out which one is theirs. The 2 pairs that do it the fastest, or the 2 mothers that can pick out their son the fastest, they then get the suites. And so they're filling them all up, and they'll be like, I've raised my son. I work at a workout studio. My son has worked out with me. I know my son. So this one mom feeling out the workout studio, she's like, oh, this is my son. She got it right. Other moms are like, hey, too toned, too broad shoulder. My son is least shoulders. It's my son. They either got it right or got it wrong. But then, they got the suites divvied up. The 2 pairs got their suites. And that's where we go from. That's our first challenge on the show. So then we start getting into the rest of the day. The cast is talking each other up, getting to use each other. And I kid you not, the youngest boy on that show is 20. Gonna turn 21 soon, hopefully. Youngest boy on that show is 20. His name is Joey. And anytime he talks...
Yo, ain't no way. Mom, come on, Mom. Mom, stop. Don't do this. Mom, you're tripping. Come on, Mom.
I swear. I start losing a bit of my brain every time I have to hear him talk. And his mom, Kelly, aka Disco Mommy, that is what she calls herself. That is her known nickname around the streets, Disco Mommy. Around the 50s? In the 50s? A fireball, whatever you want to say. But her very first bar on the show is, people ask me if I have 6 kids from the same man. Why would I have 6 kids from the same man? I don't know. Why would you have 6 kids from the same man, Kelly? Disco Mommy? Why? Why would you, you know? Why would we all want to share a biological father? Who cares? Whatever. Bias aside, we're introduced to them. It's like, okay. Then we're introduced to this Asian mom, So Young, who proceeds to say, I introduce myself in this way. I'm so young, and they bleep it out, but we can only assume that she proceeds after that to say, I'm so wet. That's how she introduces herself to get guys. Hopefully that's a lie. We will never know unless you've encountered So Young in public, and then you gotta hit me up and tell me about that. And she is also in her 50s, whatever. So these cast of boys, these men that we have, are the sons, and they're around in their 20s. The youngest woman is 46, I believe, and the oldest is 59. And that's our pool right now of women. The rest are kind of normal. You know, they're this or that. The oldest woman being 59 is like, I have a very high libido. Should I have just said high libido? That's her like opening remark. So this cast is going through, and of course, Disco Mommy strikes first. Disco Mommy sees her target, goes for it. She's chatting up this young black boy. They're chatting it up. He's like, listen, if I'm doing day one strokes, I'm doing day one strokes. It is what it is. She chatted me up. I'm chatting her up. I'm just trying to see the vibe. And so it leads you to believe, what are these, what, like you've already just experienced so much in like an hour-long episode that you're just left back with, what is the premise? Why are we doing this? TLC, what is the purpose of this show? Like, there's no way, like, even if it is a dating show, there's no way they last after this show. So it has to be purely just for shock factor. And they marketed it as the show being, you know, younger women can date older men. Why not younger men date older women? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. You know, some quirky, like, pop, catch, phrase, background tone to hit you and be like, oh, you know, you're right. You're absolutely right. Why can't this happen? Differences aside, 10 years, sure. 11 years, 12 years, 20 years, that's just 2 generational headspaces, but to each their own. A lot of these older women are like, we go for younger guys because, you know, they experiment more, they do more, they're into more. Older guys just looking to settle down, find a nice little peace, you know. The younger men are like, I just like older women. I just want me some older women. I don't know why. It's fine. To each their own. I just don't know why they have to be so crazy about it up front. I guess it is the show, but whatever. So our first day dynamics are happening. And we have So Young being out there, ready to mingle. We have, who, by the way, So Young, perfect casting name for someone that likes young men, because the running joke is So Young likes them so young. Yeah. 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 Think of that. Think of that. Put that in your mind. Remember that. We'll cycle back to that when we get deeper in. We're introduced to Charlene, who's a little bit more like, she has a sadder backstory. Her oldest daughter died, who would always inspire her to be dating, and she's like on the show. She's not as open, I guess, sexually as the other moms, but open enough to where she's down for the experience. She wants to try it. We'll see how it goes. And we're brought to a sort of standstill point with her and like talking to people because she feels nervous that the other women are too outgoing. They're going to attract little boys. Kelly, disco mommy, you know, Chestis is all out attracting because she's so like aggressive and get-go-y, so young, so horny, get-go-y. Rest are kind of, you know, filling in the blanks. We have the two Spanish heritage moms, Stephanie and Paola, you know, two of Spanish descent moms that are the younger side that, you know, aged well. I'm not gonna lie. And the reason I introduced them now is because episode 2, we will, when I start talking about that, we will get back to them and Disco Mommy a little bit. Right now, Paola's son is the one they're all after. He, I guess, he's the oldest son out of all, being like closer to like 28. I think 28, 29, maybe 27. He is the one all the moms are like, oh, he looks the most mature. He looks the most like ready to settle down and do whatever. So that's their dynamic. All the women are after this one boy, really. The guys are just all over the place. Joey, the one that makes you lose brain cells when he talks, he's actually after the oldest one at 59, April J. And that's our sort of first day dynamics. Disco Mommy's chatting up this young black boy at the end of the night. Text him being like, we have phones so we can text each other. Being like, come up right now. And then we have Joey, come on, Mom. Don't do this. Mom, you're so stupid. Mom, come on. It's not like that, Mom. It's not like that. Not on day one. Not day one. And he goes in his little like testimonial, like, you've known this dude for 6 hours. You're not about to bone day one. Yes, I am about to cock block my mom. I'm the viewer sitting here like, what is happening? What is about to happen? Why are we getting what? What with the sun right there? You just gonna have dude come up with the sun right there? Pop in the room, pop out the back. Joey can sleep outside. What's going on? Joey just wants to. Joey's like, listen, you can do it past day one, but not day one. 6 hours, day one? And essentially, Disco Mommy makes a joke like, this is your dad. And it's like, why? Joey's traumatized right now for you saying that. Why would you say that? Why would you ever even hint to that? I'd be so uncomfortable if my mother brought home a dude younger than me, technically, a 23-year-old, and be like, this is your dad. You're not my dad, you know? I don't want your fucking ravioli, you know? Things like that. Shout out those old memes. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're too young. That sort of thing going on. It's like, ugh. Disco Mommy is a threat. That's what that means. That means Disco Mommy will always be a threat to everyone in that house. That's fine. That builds character. That's essentially day one. They don't really like find their people that they're going after yet. They're just feeling the crowd out. But then we get into, I shouldn't say day one, that's episode 1. Then we get into episode 2. That's when all the real juicy stuff goes on. When they're settled in, and we immediately see Disco Mommy, Kelly, going after Paola's son. She's gonna like strike first. She's trying to make the first move so no one else can get him. Out here talking about, that's my man. She even openly looks at Paola and goes, I'm taking your son on a date. Not once, not twice, but I believe 3 times in that one episode. Just aggressively, I'm taking your son on a date. I'm taking your son to the bedroom. Like, what? If I was a mom, I too would be like, you sound like you need help. You sound like you about to take my boy for life. Like, what are your intentions? Now, I know your intentions. Paola doesn't like Kelly. Kelly's too outgoing for a lot of the people on the show, which is fine. It's cool. And so basically, Kelly's like throwing off these major vibes to Paola that she's gonna take her son on a date. She's gonna get her son. She's gonna do all this and that. And meanwhile, other dynamics are forming. We got Joey making his moves. Harrison's like sort of making his moves. Who else? There's like a lot of like background guys that I wouldn't consider like doing a lot right now. But our main characters are mostly like right now Kelly, Paola, her son, So Young's son, and So Young, with like little cameo appearances from the rest. But that's our most like aggressive group right now. And as Kelly's trying to make these moves, Paola's like clock blocking. What? Is like cock blocking every situation between Kelly and her son. She's hovering. She doesn't feel like her son is safe with Kelly. It's like, Kelly's not my son's type. Like, he needs to be protected from Kelly. She's loud. My son usually dates like quiet girls. Whereas Paola's son is like, Kelly's amazing. Like, I want to go on a date. You know, things like that. And so Kelly arranges a date. They're on like this boat getaway to see the Mushroom Rock. And they're having fun. And like, it's scripted in a way where they have this beautiful sunset going on in the background when they kiss. And so they're like, oh, it's an amazing time. And before we get to that date, though, this is the kicker. Before we get to the date, this is really what sets it all off. We're introduced to our second challenge. I gave you the little meat and potatoes first, and now we're putting the bread together. Our second challenge is called the Wall of Secrets. And you're going to be like, why? Why is the second date called the Wall, or second challenge called the Wall of Secrets? Well, they got a message the day before. They were told to write down their deepest, darkest secrets and then send them in. They did not know that this challenge was going to be this day and made for that reason. So they're writing down their secrets, and then we start seeing like the cast like go up to the wall, interact with it to guess like which is their son's secret, and the son has to guess which is their mom's secret. And one of the biggest secrets on there is, I slept with my son's best friend. Yeah. Sit on that one. Digest it. We have Kelly the firecracker, So Young, who likes him so young. We have, basically that's the most aggressive two you would ever pick from anyway. And so a lot of the people are like, sounds like Kelly would do that. That's like Kelly vibes, right? Meanwhile, Kelly's getting like side interviews and she's like, no, that's probably the most disrespectful thing you could ever do to your son. Why would anyone do that? So they're all going to this wall thinking like, oh, was my son in a 7-woman orgy? Did my son have sex in an elevator after a movie? They're thinking like, did my mom kiss someone and they became bisexual because of it? They found out their sexuality? Or did my mom have a one-night stand? Or did my mom like get with someone in the movie theaters? Did my mom have sex at a beach? Things like that are on the wall. They're all going through, but of course they're all seeing that one particular one, and they're like, that's so foul. Who would do something like that? Who would engage with their son's best friend like that? They're like, even demons in hell would not do something like that. So this challenge, if the winner of the challenge is those who stump each other on their guesses. So if both parties do not guess the others right, then they win a like all expenses paid date to whatever they want to do. That's where we get to the little mini boat date with Paola's son and Kelly to the Mushroom Rock. So they're all getting together to explain or to talk about like their secrets, who choose what, and then to explain why, if they so do choose so. So everyone pointed fingers at Disco Mommy that she was the one that slept with her son's best friend. She's like, no, that's not me. That's disgusting. What was hers? Oh, she had sex with a man in a Michelin 5-star restaurant, or sex with a stranger in a 5-star restaurant. Bougie, yes. Flexing about it, yes. But not a bad, instance, or not a bad secret that potentially could ruin a mother-son relationship. No, still there. Joey was hit it and quit. Call girls, chat him up, then hit it and quit, and then ghosted. He said he did multiple in the same week. And so you're like, okay, they're not that bad of people, depending on what's said on the board. They're okay, they're normal. One's just very outrageous, the other one makes you want to lose brain cells, but it is what it is. Then we're introduced to the big secret. I slept with my son's best friend. And take a guess who you thought that was. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Hopefully you guessed. It's So Young who wrote that. And her reasoning for writing that is because you're never going to get it, is what she repeated. I wrote it because you were never going to get it. Her son, meanwhile, is here like devastated, crushed, demolished. Like you see him, if you've seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, that was basically his emotions in that moment. He was everywhere, everything, and all at once about this situation. And everyone else in the room is like, yo, why? They're like making fun of it, like what? Like that's crazy, but yo, like come on. The man's year might have just been ruined, and y'all are going nutty for that. And of course, Gabriel, the other mother. Well, who's Gabriel? Gabriel is not Stephanie. Whoever. Gabriel is a son, and April. April J's son is Gabriel, and Gabriel. All he has to say to that is, "That's the most savage thing that was said here tonight." Like, we get it, bro. We get it. She said it. She admitted to it in front of a live audience of however million people may be watching. Shared on TikTok, so even more. We get it. So obviously, like he's in pure shock, and he tries to save it all by going like, "You out here smashing my friends?" In some like high pitched voice, like, what? Are you okay, guy? No, he's not okay. He absolutely is not okay. His whole world was flipped. And then we cut to him getting on like a little iPhone message by himself, like a video conference thing, where he's like, I don't know like what to feel, where to go. Like she like, how do you process something like that? Like, it's real. It's just real. And meanwhile, like his mom is like distraught going upstairs. Like that's on like, and so we're introduced to this chat of So Young's son completely breaking down on the phone. Completely breaking down. And then we flip to the next scene where he's in some sort of drunken state, butt naked in the pool, floating around. And Charlene tries to talk to him. He's like, no, I'm good. Like, it's just a fact of life. It's a reality we live in. My reality is not the same as your reality. We're all different people in this world. And you're like, homie's clearly not good. Should he be in the pool butt naked? Can you help him? What? And So Young tries to come and talk to her son. He's not having it. He's just like, I understand. I've processed and I understand. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad. You have not seen the worst of what I do. You have not seen the worst, but I understand. So Young then walks off. She's feeling guilty as hell. She regrets it all. He's there like out of his mind. Like he's not there, but he's there. And he's like swimming up, goes to like perches over the ledge of the pool like this. Perches over the ledge of the pool like this, and then he's like talking to the cameraman or like the boom operator guy, and he's like, man, it's really real out here. Like we're surrounded in reality. And you're like, huh? You're like, yo, this man, he might be too far on the deep end. We need to get him out. He's lost in the sauce. His floaty's gone. And it's cool, whatever. We don't really see the end result of that. We go to the next scene, where we start seeing them like pick their dates, and of course, like Paola's son goes with Kelly. Paola's not having it, so she's like stalking them. Then they go on they actually, this is the part where they actually go on the boat date, so she can't go with them. They get back. She's a little jealous. She's like, I wanted to go to that landmark, and Kelly's doing all this out of spite as well. Because she's like, no, she has to cut the umbilical cord. Like, she's too close with her son. So Kelly, being the natural evil being she is doing all this out of spite. So they're talking about letting loose. They get into the nighttime. They're talking about letting loose. They're getting into the nighttime. And then we see this, like, absolutely just random bomb drop. And what that bomb is, you say? Well, Paola, Stephanie, and Paola's son are all speaking Spanish. As per they're allowed to. It's their native language. All speaking Spanish. And then Kelly, Disco Mommy, absolute Karen mode. Absolute Karen mode. I do not lie to you. She went absolute crazy and goes, why are they speaking Spanish? Do not come here. You're not here to speak Spanish. We're all English speaking. If we're going to speak anything, speak English. And she's absolutely going, oh, she's heated about them speaking Spanish because I guess she's insecure that they're talking about her. So they then, she keeps going and going about them speaking Spanish. She's yelling at them. And what is a good reality show if not adding a little racism into the mix amidst chaos? And Kelly is absolutely going crazy at them for speaking Spanish. Other people are like, oh, we're a little uncomfortable by it because we're all a group. Why are they speaking Spanish around all of us? Blowing up, Stephanie's like, yo, we should be allowed to speak Spanish if we're in Mexico. What is she on about? So then she's yelling at Paola, and then Paola's son comes down to try and like de-escalate. But it's not happening. It's not working with Kelly. And so Stephanie tries to talk to her and then comes back and she's like, no, she is a monster, an absolute monster. And then we see like Paola talking to her son being like, this can't be like the woman that you see. If this is really the woman, like, you'll find others. He's like, maybe. He's also like, I've never seen this dark side of her. Obviously, it's my first time getting to know her, and seeing this dark side is kind of off-putting. It's not sexy. And I agree. She's literally yelling at these people for speaking their native language. Granted, does it suck that you can't understand? That's on you. But you can't just berate and attack these people for it. So it is what it is. It's a messy TLC show. And should it exist? Probably not. But it does. And the world is like stuck in it. And we're all envisioning what happens next. We get a little snippet of the next episode. They have to do some sort of dance performance for some challenge. I don't know. We'll see. But like, it's something that I never fathom the world going to. A show about MILFs and then their contestants being their sons. So essentially, you have to watch your son date other older women in front of you, and the level of uncomfortability I feel even just watching it, I can only imagine some of the bombs that were dropped for those boys, those men, those young men. They feel 10 times more uncomfortable, and it's not just introduced to that inner house. It is then live streamed or streamed and sent out to however thousands of million people are watching, if that. Maybe no one's watching, but it's I don't know if disgusting is the right word. Off-putting, yes. Disturbing, possibly. But like, why? Also so young, why? You could have put anything. You really dug deep. Disco Mommy, it's okay. Just learn Spanish. Rosetta Stone's right there. We're gonna keep watching. Fuck it. We're gonna keep watching anyway and keep talking about it. And we're also gonna talk about Velma at some point. But I want to watch more of that before I dive into it. I'm pretty much caught up in Velma, so we're gonna hit more episodes and then probably talk about that to see if it gets better. I want to see if it gets better. I'm watching to see if it constantly keeps getting better. But thank you for listening. This is your introduction into Milf Manor. If you want to check it out. It's on TLC. Yes, I did get Discovery Plus just for this to talk about it. I probably won't keep Discovery Plus. I need the merger to happen. Obviously, Discovery Plus and HBO Max are going to merge at some point, or I'm just going to wait for that. But hey, Milf Manor's out there. It's a thing now. Might as well ride the ride while we have it. And I'm not talking about riding, older women. Anyway, well, actually, I mean the ride of watching the show and exposing these people. But anyway, thank you for listening. Hope you had fun. Hopefully you learned a little bit about Milf Manor and what it is. Now you're going to go enjoy, or you're just going to wait for me to drop more episodes about it. It's cool. I'll see you on the next one. It's Keizus everywhere. Well, Keizus_everyone on Twitch. Casually Random on YouTube. That technically doesn't have anything out there, but it's out. And then keep up with Casually Random podcast on Apple Music, or technically Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify. Thank you for listening. Bye.